TV shows may become known as the art form of our times. The opera, the theatre, radio, movies, cinema have all had their time in the limelight, and they rightfully continue to be popular. However, the gravitation towards the smaller, bite-sized offerings of a series that takes you deeper into a story has become remarkably popular. Streaming giants exist because of the palette of shows they present. Can they mystify us? Do they draw us in and, at the same time, away from our own misery? Do they capture the heartbeat of society, and at just the right frequency? That is also why there are thousands of TV show reviews and reviewers. And we are adding, with our own brand of infrequency, our own little crumb of TV show sensation. Unk and I, two earthed and hidden beneath rock experts, have come together to present our thoughtful and not always easy on the ear opinions on things. We started with Severance in our first effort, and in this episode we talk about that wonder on Netflix called Dept Q. Set in Edinburgh and charging into the cold case stakes that has the Scottish government abuzz and groggily generous, Detective Carl Mork et al. Set about frustrating us, angering us, and exciting us in equal measure. But does the show do the original books by Jussi Adler-Olsen justice? I wouldn't know. I haven't read them. But what do you think? This is Two and a Mic. Enjoy.
Dung weche pek kod welo mabiro e Two and a Mic. Dung parodit kod jok mawuoye Two and a Mic. Seche tin sud buta wawinji e Two and a Mic. Wala wachokre wabed piny bi wawinje ero chako momit ndi Two and a Mic podcast makende.
I'm joined again by that TV show guru, the man that is Uncle Hair. People only listen to experts nowadays, man.
No, yeah, but I'm definitely not an expert.
Dude, you watch more TV shows than anybody else I know.
But it doesn't mean anything, does it, Zach? Just because you watch a lot doesn't mean that you're good at analyzing it. Anyway,
that's true. That's true. But for the purposes of our conversation, you qualify as an expert. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I can say that to you on on mic.
Thanks for the watermelons, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for watermelons.
Yeah. Mic is a bit different, but yeah, cool. Anyway, yeah. So we had a great chat about Severance in our first version of whatever this series may actually eventually come to be known in the generations to come. And on this occasion, we're going to look at Dept Q or Dept Q, as they've shortened it to on the Netflix thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, I love crime series. I don't love crime. I love crime TV shows. And I have done ever since I was a kid growing up reading Agatha Christie novels and so on. Do you also like crime shows in the same way?
I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
I takes me back, to Sherlock Holmes. I really love Sherlock Holmes. It was one of my most favorite, Yeah. Obviously, I had the translated books back home, but I really. To be honest, I never actually liked Agatha Christie.
Really?
I tried. Yeah. I just.
Oh man.
It's just. And you know what pissed me off about Agatha Christie? To be honest, and that's what really put me off is, in a way, you read or you watch, and when the murder is revealed and based on certain, let's say, things that happened during, the actual scenario, and you say, hang on a second, that wasn't there. How the hell did that jump into. So I didn't like it because I could never actually guess who it was or deduce who it was. If you like, I mean, okay,
That's fair
maybe
enough.
I mean,
it's okay to admit that we didn't have the intelligence that Agatha Christie had. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But
no, I just thought that certain facts were omitted, and then all of a sudden, on the reveal, when at the end, Hercule Poirot comes and says, "Oh, now I'm gonna explain the ABC."
Or Miss Marple, but yeah, of course.
Yeah, or Miss Marple. Yeah. Miss Marple, I think to a lesser extent. I mean, I didn't read any Miss Marples, but I tried to read a couple of. I just. Anyway, that's what it was. But I obviously seen all the movies of all the TV series and things that were made. I quite enjoyed it, but obviously not. Again, at the end, on the reveal is
fair enough. But for anybody who has never had the pleasure of a conversation with you, the fact that we have managed to go off on a tangent before we've even started our actual topic is not really a surprise. That's
man. You're supposed to you're supposed to shut me down.
I can't. You jump. I can't do it so quickly, man. Okay. I mean, the power of editing has certain limits to it. But no, that's cool.
You got it.
All right, that's cool.
Right.
But just to say that the Agatha Christie model established a certain precedent when it comes to revealing, who did what and so on in many, many other novels, writers, TV series, and movies, and so on. So. She created something of this mammoth beast for storytelling in the crime genre. So, okay, let's go back to Dept Q all those years ago we were talking about. So, first of all, just to get down to some basics, it's based on a book series written by a Danish writer, Jussi Adler-Olsen. So that in itself is quite fun. So, obviously, I haven't read this series or any of the books, so I actually don't know. But I would be surprised if the Danish writer had set it in Edinburgh. So let's let's jump to the conclusion that it was probably set somewhere in Denmark. But anyway, so the adaptation by Scott Frank and Chandni Lakhani came out on the 29th of May this year on Netflix, and in August it was renewed for a second helping. So hopefully that will come out next year.
Sure.
Do you want to go through the plot a bit, and then I'll kind of sprinkle my genius here and there.
Well, I mean,
if you want, I can do it.
Yeah, you do it because it's really fresh for you.
I finished it last week, and also I took the liberty of writing some shit down, so therefore it's
good. Yeah.
So I'm going to sneeze any second now. So 1 second.
Go for it. Bless you.
I will edit that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So the main detective, I think, is an arrogant English policeman. Okay, and for some reason, this arrogant English policeman has decided that Scottish pastures are greener when it comes to policing in Edinburgh. DCI Carl Mork and his partner James Hardy. This is in the first scene. Yeah, we see them walking up to a flat, a home, an open door in a not particularly well-off area, and there is a plodding police officer standing outside. And they are, okay, what's going on, in their varied accents. And he says, yeah, there's somebody inside, he's dead. Are you sure he's dead? Yes, he's got a knife sticking out of his head. That would probably indicate the guy's dead. They go in. Mork, Mork starts behaving in the way that is his want, I guess, being arrogant. He's rude and so on, and starts taking the piss out of this young, wet behind the ears policeman. And tells him to go and do something. As he goes to the kitchen to do what he does, or he's supposed to do, a man dressed in black with a balaclava shoots him, shoots the other two. They're all on the floor. Two of them survive, and neither of those who survive is the plotter. So, I don't want to, this is the first scene. And then from there, it kind of spreads out to, okay, the policeman Mork, who eventually, after a few months, returns to service. His partner is actually being paralyzed by a bullet that went through his spine. He's still recovering in hospital, but he still has his wits about him and wants to be involved in doing some shit. Whereas Mork, he's more or less okay. He's still traumatized heavily, but he can't really return to active duty. So the Justice Department in Scotland, or the government of Scotland, have decided that there are some very high profile unsolved cases that they would like somebody to start working on. And for these cases, they will be provided with a very large budget. And so this was the convincing point, which Chief Superintendent Moira Jacobson, she's, oh yeah, in that case we'll do it. She puts Mork onto the case of finding these cold cases. And also we should add Alexei Manvalov, who plays Akram Salim, who's a Syrian ex. We don't really know exactly what it was that he did back in Syria. He is involved and becomes more and more involved, and it actually inspires them to start working on the first case, which is the disappearance of prosecutor Merritt Lingard. Okay, so that's more or less the plot at the beginning. We won't go into too many spoilers. So how do you feel about the way that kind of all is expressed, prepared, set up?
Okay, so my take is, number one, it's too long. It's probably at least 2, if not 3 episodes more than what it needed to be. That's my personal opinion, by the way.
Really? Really? Yeah. That's the first thing you say? You're taking the Lord of the Rings?
Well, I gotta do something to counter your fantastic preface.
Okay. You gotta earn your airtime. Fair enough.
Yeah. No. To be honest, Zach, yes, I don't. Okay.
That's cool.
So with this Scandi, I think the reason is with this Scandi based, like Danish or Swedish, these some of these dark Scandi crime things, series that I'm sure you've watched them. I'll watch them, and actually I quite like them, even though they're really long drawn out. They're mostly gray, obviously because of the the environment that it's set in. But in a way, and of course you can't binge watch those, because I tell you, if every single episode is like so drawn and dragged out, there's not much action in terms of movement, if you like. It's much more like a, you're not really, there are no major chase scenes. It's not like a American or somebody. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of movement on the one that's called The Bridge.
Yes. I mean, I think that's probably the exception to most of these series. No. Okay. What I mean is, generally there are a lot of episodes normally to these in this series, as is this one. So I think sometimes when it's dragged out, people lose interest. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm just saying. I just would want it to be more squeezed. And the other objection that I have, first of all, I would say it's brilliantly made. I mean, there's no question about it. Okay. Some of the acting, and I will reflect on that a little bit later on. I think personally, Akram, for me, top notch.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
I haven't seen him, or I don't recognize him from anything else. But I'm telling you, hands down, he's the best character in this series. My personal opinion. Now I might be biased for whatever reason, but no, honestly, I think he's absolutely fantastic. He made the series actually up until he came into it. I wasn't really sure. Do I really want to watch this depressing kind of, how it started, like the shooting and stuff. Anyway. So I digress as usual.
But just on the point, point of Akram, the Syrian character you're talking about, played by Alexei Manvalov, his delivery of his famous line, which is almost akin to "I am Groot," as in people are going to start selling merchandise saying, "I'm Akram," because when everybody they speak with the police officer, of whether it's the one who plays Rose Dixon, whether it's the one who plays Morg, or so, and they say, and who are you? And he is, "I'm Akram." And it's like, okay, that's supposed to explain what to me, but it's delivered in such a cool way every single time. You just love it. Even when you know what's coming, you think, "Go on, and please do it."
He is, I think, hands down, incredibly outstanding. Now, I don't know if this is really like, wow, it suits him, like it's fitted him like a glove for whatever reason. And until I see obviously some other work from him, I can't. But in this role, wow, I don't know, whoever actually picked him, fantastic, unbelievable choice. I mean, for me, that he kind of glued everything together, and he actually gave it some type of a. Anyway, well, I mean, we will probably discuss that. What he does, but
that kind of fits, though, right? Because it was his decision to take on this case in the first place.
Yes.
He had to kind of fight for the case to be pursued in the first place.
Well, they didn't want him. He didn't want him anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just like a poor guy. He had waited in the waiting room for hours and then to get a job because obviously he needed the job. And all the rest of it. So he really wanted to basically do something in that establishment. And but I think in a way it was by luck that he ended up going to that department.
Let's just say we have to recognize the power of Pahlava.
Yes, exactly.
Because
that's a nice sweetener there, right there. That's a nice sweetener.
Because Rose fell in love with the paklava, the recipe from his wife, and so therefore, that I think if anybody is out of work currently, learn how to prepare paklava.
Yes, exactly. That should help you.
Absolutely,
food's the way. Food's the way to get people's attention.
It worked with Ted Lasso and the biscuits that he made for his boss. So therefore, paklava can also do that. Just make sure that whoever you give it to does not have a nut allergy, and you'll be okay. All right. So getting back to then, okay.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting because you're right. The next point was then to go on to characters and story development and so on. So it's interesting that you think it went on a couple of episodes too long. To be honest, we when it was done, we were like, oh no, when's the next season? So we were actually quite happy that it had kind of developed. It kind of went on as long as it was only 9 episodes. It's not 10 episodes, or it's not the 24 episodes of 24.
No. I mean, what I was trying to say is that honestly, I wasn't being negative about it in that sense. I just thought, you know what, it could have.
It went on too long.
It went on. No. Look. I don't know. Maybe as I have so many things to watch, possibly. Maybe that's the reason I want things to move so I can get on with the next one. You see what I'm saying? So the longer this thing drags out, obviously, the more time it takes out of me watching other stuff. So
who'd have thought? Yeah.
Who would have thought it exactly?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I know.
Only you, man. Only you.
Yeah. Well, apparently, we were quite. We liked the length of the show. As in, the thing is, Lena kind of said. So I asked her her opinion on how things would develop, and she kind of takes the Hollywood view on things. And we're not going to do any spoilers here and so on.
No.
It develops in a way which is pretty. Okay, I hesitate a little bit to say nail biting because nail biting is very bad for your nails and your fingers in general. And I think people should try to avoid doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
But there is definitely a very a level of excitement that builds up. I think there are lots of very, very interesting scenes. I struggle a bit. Matthew Good, who plays DCI Carl Morg. I find that he's a bit uncomfortable when he has to play the role of a bastard, as in when he's being rude, when he's swearing at people, when he's being a very, very unpleasant person to people who are very nice. Like, for example, his partner, who James Sives in the program, D-side James Hardy, Jamie Sives, who's injured. He doesn't really want to be a dick to his partner, but he is. And and the thing is, the question that I ask myself is that because the character is struggling with his own trauma, and so therefore the way he deals with it is by pushing this sort of forced anger characteristic out, or is that actually Matthew Good himself? He's a very nice person, and as good as an actor as he is, he's not really able to find comfort in that sort of aggressive language that he has. I don't know.
Or maybe it's because they're Scottish. Who knows?
Okay, political correctness is out the window. That's another. Funny enough.
Well, it's just because you know how it is, right? Because like their language is a bit rough. I mean, Scottish is normally it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm not describing it the right way, but the way they speak is.
Somebody born in Tehran is not explaining things properly in the.
I know, man. I must be an exception to the rule, man. No, I think the accent itself is a little bit harsh in some ways.
But don't forget, though. I want to approach that as well, because I think it's an important point that, for example, Chief Superintendent Moira Jackson, she's played by Kate Dickie, and she's also she's the chief as well in another TV series. In Scotland,
what was she? Yes, you're right. What was she in?
Annika.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Okay. She's also and in that one she's angry as well. In this one she's super angry. So and in both roles she plays obviously the Scottish police chief. And so my question is this characterization of Scottish people as angry, and you also just hinted at it there yourself. Is this an element of kind of prejudice, as in, because I remember when I used to work in a sports shop in Shepherd's Bush, whenever QPR had a home game, the manager would get all the Saturday staff into a meeting and basically would talk about the kinds of people to expect and so on, and he used to mention if there were people from up north, he said, if they tried to crack a joke with you, just laugh and smile. They don't mean it. And so, when we talk about this sort of north-south prejudice that exists, it's real. It's a thing, And I get the feeling that it's also being represented in some of the series which are being represented about Scottish people. I'm not really sure. I mean, is this a cultural thing? Are Scottish people like just basically more playful in their language, and do they sort of exhibit this roughness, but really it's not just roughness, it's just sincerity, it's just a colorful way of speaking?
Yes, it is, because a number of times I've been to Scotland, and my impression is that they're extremely friendly people in general. Obviously there's always exceptions,
of course,
but the experience, like me being foreigner, let's put it this way, they've been more welcoming in general towards me. Or that's how I felt. That's how I felt. So I understand that it's. I think it's the way the language is spoken. It's not them per se. They're not. I'm not saying they're rough. What I'm saying is the way that the words come out, or the accent that comes out is rough. It's not about them per se. It's not their personality. It's not. I don't know. It's like.
So would you say would you say the characterization is accurate then from Department Q? Does that come across? I mean, obviously they're supposed to be playing very high-profile positions where, so also there is a lot of tension involved. It's not like they're meeting for a coffee and a scone. They're obviously talking about serious shit.
But the thing is, if you see between Mork and what's his name, the character,
James Hardy.
James Hardy,
his partner.
Partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The partner,
So,
you mean who was shot in the spine?
who was shot?
Yeah.
Who was shot?
James Hardy. Yeah.
He's James. Yeah, James. Yeah. So Mark and James have a lot of back and forths together. They have a lot of banter. Do you see what I'm saying? So and you feel that both of them in reality really love each other. Not in a sexual way, but they really love each other as friends. In a way. Yeah. So it's not and obviously the banter comes out, and they always like swear at each other in some ways. They they talk about football. They basically there's a lot of this back and forth. But I think at the bottom line is, and at the end, I think when Moira, it is right, the chief,
Moira
tells
Jackson.
tells him that I have a case for you, right? And then he says, "Oh, you mean a case for us?" And she says, "No." The look on his face is that he is thinking, in a way, I'm betraying Mork in some ways. That was my take, obviously.
You mean Mork's betraying James?
No. James is betraying Mork because Moira is telling him, because at the last scene.
Yeah. So I thought
you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they actually feel very close to each other, and it really affects him being shot and ending up in a hospital. Mork really blames himself maybe for a lot of that. What happened? He got away with it with obviously to a lesser extent, and then his friend almost ended up totally basically handicapped from neck down. At the beginning, you could see his pain. He couldn't handle the fact that it was like a survival's thing, guilt, if you like, in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you had that take on it or not. It's just my.
I felt
I don't know
at the beginning that James Hardy was. This is a part of the plot which kind of a little bit bemused me because, as you say, Mork, survivor's guilt. He made it through. The other plotter died, and his very good friend, perhaps his best friend in Scotland, is paralyzed, and so therefore he feels bad. And also, there's this very touching scene when you kind of get it's not really expressed very clearly, but it seems as though James Hardy's asking Mork, "Can you pull the plug on me, mate? Because I can't do this anymore." Yeah, absolutely.
You're absolutely right. Yes, absolutely.
And Mork,
he said to him basically, "F off. I'm not doing that. You better get better. Yeah, no chance. I want you alive, and I want you to fight this thing that you're basically, absolutely. There was no mistaking what he was asking him. Basically,
they're about to get into that, and then James Hardy's family walks in, and it stops. But later on, and sorry, it's a bit of a spoiler, so if you want to skip past the next,
it's not really a spoiler. Not really. Anyway, talking about relationships.
No. But one second. Later on, when this other doctor comes in and basically says, you've got a chance to walk again. And Mork says, 1 minute, when did that happen? And she said, pretty much a week after the accident. So if that's the case, a week after the accident, James Hardy knew there's a chance potentially that he could walk again. So why is it 4 months later, he feels that he should ask his friend to take his life?
Because I think he wasn't recovering fast enough in his mind, and he thought, no chance, it's not going to happen. But in my mind, there was no question. He wanted him to pull the plug. For sure, 100%. Yeah, I mean, your take is absolutely correct. I mean, obviously, both of us are naturally we think we're right, but hey, who knows?
The experts that we are on these kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely, cool. Look, I think I think the characters kind of worked. I really didn't like Moira, the chief.
She's not. That's the point, though. She's not supposed to be like those.
But
you know who she reminds me of? I can't remember the exact. I think it's NYPD Blue. I think. Do you remember they had a black captain?
Oh yeah.
And he always went apeshit. Whenever anybody did anything, he went absolutely apeshit. And then there were other movies. I think the same character was also in a couple of movies, which were like comedy movies, and his role was basically to be the angry black man in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of developing this sense with regards to Kate Dickie, who plays this character. She's being now typecast as the angry chief superintendent, and she has, and it, I don't know, it strikes me that way.
Maybe. Well, I mean, look, whatever it is, it's obviously that they've decided to go that way. She didn't have a real big, huge part. I'll say that. You know, she was, I think, a big part there, not really.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she does what she does. You can see she's also a bit of a politician. She, the money that is set aside for him. All of a sudden, everybody has a brand new laptop. And one minute.
Well, that's what she did. She used all the money that was assigned to renew the rest of the department, and ended up giving him the toilet, basically. You know.
And I have to say, the most depressing part of this whole thing was, tongue in cheek here, was the Ford Sierra that is given to.
Yeah, I know. Where the hell did they take that from?
I'll tell you, I thought all of those cars had been taken out of service or circulation.
I know.
Because they're just ridiculous.
Crazy,
this 1980s Ford Sierra is horrible.
Awful cars.
I know. I was hoping that they've given them the Capri, which would have reminded me of the Professionals a little bit.
Yes,
or the Ford Escort. That nice. There was a really nice Ford Escort, wasn't there? The sporty one.
The X3, wasn't it? They called an X3 or something.
I can't remember. That would have been nice. But the Ford Sierra, they got the shittest looking Ford car ever. And I mean, the only way it could have been worse was if they'd given them a Fiat Multipla, but that would have been absolutely just embarrassing. Of course, that wasn't going to happen. Okay, all right. So we kind of Anything else you got to say about the plot or any of the characters?
Look, I mean,
what do you think?
I don't know what.
Leah Byrne, who played DC Rose Dixon. What did you think of her?
Absolutely fantastic. Now, I think she was very good at it too.
Yeah.
But Zach, I'll be honest with you. I have this issue with a lot of the new programs that they are just introducing characters for the sake of being, where I'm going to go.
No, don't say that. Don't say that word. You can't. We've got a moratorium on that word.
Okay, I'm not. But I don't know. I don't like it. Honestly, I don't like it.
Do you mean like diversity? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
But who are you talking about exactly?
Rose.
No, why? Rose isn't a diversity character.
Of course she is.
Why?
Well, I think you should revise. She has a lot of issues. She's on medication even.
Yeah, okay, I understand. But she's had a traumatic experience. As in for me, it's the same thing with Karl Mork, because he has to go to therapy.
Therefore, I think he's not the full shit.
She ran over a couple of elderly people, and so therefore she felt very guilty about that. And
I think she also is on a kind of a
she became addicted to. She became addicted to. Okay. She's also. But she said she said she's autistic and.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay. Exactly.
But I have to say, I find that there are perhaps a lot more people who have ADHD or autism or some other kind of neurodiversity than we actually truly believe. Now, whether or not there are. I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently, but I have to say that there are people who have characteristics that I would say represent that. I myself believe I also do. I don't think it is necessarily to be considered something which is a negative or a disadvantage in most cases, but I think having her there as having that particular characteristic, and I mean they represented it in a very simplistic form, when she was putting all of the pens on the desk in line and everything had to be in order. Yeah. That particular compunction that she had is perhaps the most simplistic. I mean, the amount of times I go to the supermarket, I'm an expert in going to supermarket, by the way, among other things. I go back two or three times
a day. We can do a few podcasts on that one.
take a look at the number of people when they put their items on the belt, that they line them up in a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that is also an example of this kind of compulsive behavior. As in, I really don't think it's a bad thing, and to represent it in that way in such a simplistic fashion, I don't think that's necessarily adhering to this modern trend of diversity and so on. I just think that's just how it is.
That's my penny's worth. I
believe enough. I actually really like Rose. I'm happy to hear that you really like Rose too. I think her presence and having these characteristics, I think, are relevant. I think it doesn't.
She has spotted a lot of things.
Yeah.
Where neither Akram, not Akram, obviously is not detective, but in terms of Mork, who's supposed to be actually this the savant or some maverick in
and
terms
I think
of
this buys into that. I think this buys into that. I think the whole point that is being made by making Rose obviously a female, by making Rose a younger generation, by making Rose have certain interests that she has, by making Rose neurodiverse, tells us that you need to have a different perspective. You need to be able to think in a different way, to be able 100%. To interpret data in a novel way as well. And I think that is borne out. So therefore, having said that, I kind of disagree with you, because I think she's not simply a diversity character. I think she's a character who is presented to tell people, listen, people who think in different ways are fundamental when we want to try to develop the way that we do things. If we want to stay where we are, fair enough. But staying where nature never stays stable. Nature always changes. Nature always moves forward. And I think absolutely. And I think that we resist that to our own damage, failing any other words.
Look, as I said, I don't disagree. And I think her character, in terms of, her obviously intelligence, in the sense that she's looking at things in a different way, did help with the investigation. No question about it. And there is thing to be said about some neurodiverse individuals who have extremely high intelligence, and their thing works in such a way that they see patterns and they see things that normal people or so-called normal people don't.
And driven, absolutely driven. In ways which the average person simply wouldn't be. One other character that I think we have to talk about, because otherwise it will be crazy to talk about this show without speaking about Chloe Pirrie, who plays the prosecutor Merritt Lingard.
Oh yeah.
I cannot imagine how much time she had to spend. And again, this is something of a spoiler, but I cannot imagine how much time she had to spend during the filming of this show in such a small, isolated cube or whatever it was that she did. And as in, her acting was phenomenal, as was the acting of the character that played her brother. But her acting is unbelievable. And the way that she plays her role, I think, we need to congratulate her on that.
I agree.
She does it brilliantly.
Even though I definitely agree in terms of her ability, her acting,
and it's
ability.
Tom Bulpett who plays her brother William, by the way. And
I think Zach. To be honest, I mean, I look at it in a much more differently. Let's put it this way. Sure. To play a character in his case, to play a character like that, in my opinion, is not that hard. It's not.
Okay.
It really is not. And it's an extreme case of acting, and it's not.
Let's just say that
I mean,
the brother plays is a character who was attacked as a youth and has suffered brain damage. I feel, and again, I'm not an actor, but I don't know exactly how hard it is to play that kind of a role. But I feel watching it, and I've seen it played by other people, and I have to say, on each occasion, I thought maybe this person really was, or had suffered such an injury, because it seemed extremely believable. But going back to the case of Merit, who's the main character, she is, I think, phenomenal in the way that she does it, and
she is. The acting in this series in general is been absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But honestly, for me, Akram's character, and the way it's built, the way it's delivered, it's top notch.
He is
because
brilliant.
these extreme acting. So you wanna say, the guy is the brother is did whatever. Okay, so I refer to one movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You want to see acting of that type, and you want to see, you go to that movie and you see something that you will not see.
Also Rain Man also.
Yes, Rain Man. Thank you.
But again, I would say that in all these cases, the acting was fantastic. That's what I mean. As in, these professional actors really know how to play those roles, and they're very good.
Yeah, they're absolutely there. That's what I said. Generally, the acting in this series, all of them. Okay, you may or may not like or have an affinity towards certain characters, but in general, the acting itself has been top notch. I mean, when you look at these the acting, it's been nothing short of fantastic. I mean, they all deserve Oscars in some ways, if we were giving Oscars in their roles,
and we have to
whatever.
And I think we have to pay credit to the last two generations of drama schools and acting schools and so on, because they really have. There is a conveyor belt of fantastic actors coming out. And they have really made these kinds of lower budget TV shows possible because they are so good at what they do.
But Zach, I will say it's the people who cast these characters are the people we have to be thanking.
But
because obviously, I think probably actors are a dime a dozen, let's say, whatever. But it's to actually know what fits what role.
I disagree. I don't think very good actors are a dime a dozen. I think
I said actors. I didn't say very good. I said actors in general. They're a dime a dozen. But it's to know what you need, who you pair this character with.
Chemistry
that
and
makes
so on.
it. You see you see, that is really, really honestly okay. So you prepare a very good meal, but
food again.
What wine pairing will you have with it in order to make your experience that much better?
Is there any show we're going to do where you don't bring food into it? I don't think so. I think you always introduce.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's not a surprise, is it? Okay, cool. All right.
No.
All right. Okay, cool. Fair enough.
I think casting. So let's put it this way. Yes, the actors were great, but I think the casting, whoever casted these people, was hands down, whoever him, he, she, it, whatever, has been absolutely on spot.
Okay.
And it doesn't happen very often, but I think it doesn't happen that often, because I think that this is why we're talking about the acting, because the chemistry of the characters in general are, fantastic. Anyway.
Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. Fair enough. One last then question. Overall rating. and in conjunction with that, whether or not so it's two last questions, whether or not you're looking forward to season 2. So how would you rate then Dept Q?
I rate it 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty high. That's good. That's more or less in line. And so then you're looking forward to season 2, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And will you be happy? Will you watch all 9 episodes, or will you cut it to 7 or something?
I'd like it to be a bit shorter, Zach, but it is what it is. Yeah, I can't. I don't have. I don't have. Look, it's their budget. It's their programming that drives it. And you know what? If you notice, Netflix doesn't have many nine-part series. It's either 10, 8, 6, something along those lines, or 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
very
this is
rarely
like a 9, which means, hey,
they weren't
you know
really
what?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they weren't sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, as I said, some parts, honestly, my personal opinion, some parts didn't have to be played as in, the guy walks half a mile. So you show the guy walking half a mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I gave it as an example. I'm not exactly, but what I'm saying is some scenes could have been shorter. It could have been more compact. As I said, it's not
but your
my
character build.
It's
but
not
your
my
character
fix,
building, as in, look, I always compare these with one of my favorite shows, which is Bosch over on Prime, because you really get into the character that is Bosch, and that's done a lot with his music. That's done with his relationship with his daughter, and in the first few seasons with his ex-wife. And there is the kind of chemistry which you look at, you think, wow, that's brilliant. And here they're kind of trying to do that as well, where they're talking about more his relationship with his stepson and his very chaotic neighbor, and the mother of his stepson, his ex-wife, turns up. So, and you think, so okay, cool, I get that, and I like it, and I think it needs time to be able to cultivate that. Maybe they're building towards creating that kind of a series where people look back and say, okay, that's a Morse, or that's a Columbo, or maybe. I don't think the character Mork has the character strength of a Morse or a Bosch or a Poirot or a Columbo. He doesn't have that level. Strength.
No, he doesn't. All. He doesn't have that presence in the sense. But that's not necessarily to do with him as a character. I think it's not that type of a show. That, in my opinion, is not that type of a show, because they've got too many characters in there. Like Bosch is very, it's centered around him, if you like. Yeah. Even from probably the first, let's say, even from the first episode. I mean, I've only seen Bosch a couple of episodes because my wife couldn't get into it. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah. And I always wanted to watch it, but she said, "Oh, she can't stand his character." Blah blah blah. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so she doesn't like him because of his eyes, droopy eyes. I don't look. You know what?
What?
This was my mistake. That's your auntie, man. That's another stuff. I know it's got to get in it. Yeah. So anyway, unfortunately, I can't watch it on my own. I've got too many other things I gotta watch. But anyway, I digress. Now, I think this is not. It would be good as the way it is carrying forward, even if they made like I don't know how many, what they intend. So this one was pretty successful, I gather, obviously from Netflix point of view. And then I think they're gonna make the second, and then let's see. Hopefully, if it stays, I would like all of these characters to remain in the thing, because it makes it. Because I think it makes it.
Well, let's see about that, because what's unfair in comparison, that the comparison that I gave was that in each of those cases, Morse, Bosch, Poirot, and Columbo, the series were named after those individuals, whereas this isn't.
Whereas this one is a department. Yeah, exactly. So I think moving forward, they're gonna have all these characters in some, or they're gonna bring in one, take one out, or if it goes on. Let's see how many they make. But
I can see, for example, Mork being transferred back to England because he's just an annoying pisshead. I don't know, but
it's possible.
But department still continues the Dept Q. So let's see how that develops. But anyway, cool. So you are looking forward to season 2 as well, then?
Absolutely.
And you would you recommend this to other people to watch as a crime series?
I would. Whoever really likes a good crime series and something solid, something substantial. I think it's got very many angles to it,
Okay.
which in a way it's nice to have, and it's. I think it's pretty intelligently written. It's things tie up. Um, the only thing I would say is that certain things that didn't tie up, and it actually was made by Akram, obviously, who had liberty, who took some, arty,
Yeah.
things that obviously in real life the police wouldn't be able to do.
True. True.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he got certain clues and things that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to extract. I mean, look, obviously you're making a drama, you have to take some liberties.
Yeah.
If you went to a police station and you wanted to follow them, think you get bored bored to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that. And by the way, as I said, I really, really look forward to see Akram again. Hopefully in something else, but definitely second series. By far, hands down, he's my favorite character.
Okay. Cool.
And he's obvious what his background is, but I mean, obviously he's intelligence officer.
Yeah, they don't really talk about it. And they say he's an ex-policeman.
No, they don't, because of course that didn't exist in Iraq, obviously.
Syria. Syria.
Yes. Oh, Syrian or Iraqi? I think it was Iraqi.
No, Syrian.
He's ex-Syrian. Oh, okay, he's ex-Syrian.
Yeah.
So of course those kind of things don't exist in those countries, of course.
No. Well.
So,
yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So thank you very much then for your insightful analysis. And
oh my God, yes.
Well, Mr. Expert, and we'll come back then. I don't know when. Talk about our next show. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Zach.
All the best.
Yeah. A good one.
2 and a mic. 2, 2, 2, 2.